What is your mission here to the President?
Thank you very much, members of the press. Thank you for attending this very important occasion. Our purpose here today is very simple. We've seen that the President has called on all Gambians to come and join together to work for this country, for the interests of the Gambian people. And that it was elections in 2021 December. Many people went out to cite the mandate of the Gambian people. But President Barrow emerged the winner of the elections. When we were campaigning at that time, we had our manifesto and our 10-point plan. We had our vision for how the country should be governed for the interests of the country. However, the President won the elections. And we reflected at the party level that why should we sit on our ideas and our manifesto and our vision for this country and not share it with the President who is entrusted by the Gambian people to govern this country. And then we thought it wise, listening to the President speak, that he calls on all Gambians to come together to build this country. So he sat at an executive level and decided that we want to support the President's agenda. How? Within the context of the next local government elections, we are going to form an alliance for local government elections, but also use our manifesto and our ideas and our knowledge and our vision as in the 10-point plan to work with the NPP, also their ideas, their manifesto, their vision, to combine it to work for the interests of this country. So we came here to have that meeting to finalize it, that CA has decided at an executive level to work together with the NPP to pull resources together, to pull ideas together, to pull knowledge together to build this country for the interest of the Gambia.
So in essence, what you are saying is that this is a partnership instead of Dr. Ismaila Ceesay cross-carpeting into UDP.
It's not cross-carpet. This was an executive decision by the Citizens Alliance, including our regional chairpersons. It was a very important meeting. It was a very inclusive meeting. So it's a partnership, an alliance with the NPP to work for the interests of this country. And let me emphasize that we see Gambia first. It's not about Dr. Ismaila Ceesay. It's not about President Barrow. It's about the Gambia. The country is facing challenges. Some of these challenges are perennial, inherited since independence. Some of them are globally induced. We know what's happening. At the back of COVID-19 pandemic, there is war in Ukraine. The country is facing challenges. The government, under the President's leadership, is doing its utmost best to deal with these challenges. But we have to also complement. No one person can do it alone. We'll find ourselves in very trying and challenging times. And I think coming together as a nation, we want to move away from that old politics, which is based on animosity, which is based on tension, which is based on insults, and you name it. We want to bring a new type of politics in the country, where we believe the opposition and the government can work together, pull ideas for the interest of the people. If NPP and CA are fighting on social media every day, if CA is going out to protest every day, the poor farmer in Fonyi, in Badibo, the child who's not having access to education, the woman dying at the hospitals because there is no proper health care, is one who's suffering. So we have to go beyond that. Our problems are bigger than ourselves and our personal interests. So it's time, and we call on all Gambians, not only CA, all Gambians, to come together. This is a time we are calling for a national convergence of ideas and resources to build this country, not only for our generation, but also for the next generation.
One more question before I let my colleagues. This is coming amid crises that has rocked your party, resignations of some top chieftains, but also the suspension of some of your leaders. How certain is the future of CA?
Well, CA's future is as certain and as constant as the Northern Star. Politics is like that. People come and go. I mean, there is no party where people stay constantly. People leave, people come in. CA stays. CA is bigger than me. I've always maintained that. I don't own CA. CA is an institution owned by its members. And I'll take this opportunity as well in this press conference to inform our members that they entrusted us to lead the party and make decisions in the interest of the party. In politics, there are three interests: the national interest, the party interest, and the individual interest. In this case, we are doing this for the national interest primarily, and then the party interest secondarily.
Now maybe we have one or two more questions, if there's any. If not, we allow Magic will respond on behalf of the party.
Yeah, I just have two. Yes. The first one, of course, your visit to the president initially before the December presidential election received a lot of criticism from your critics. That is because you formed a party. You formed a party to challenge the incumbent, because you thought that probably the country is not in the right hands. You want to change that dynamics. That's why you formed a political party to run as presidential candidate in December. Why the sudden change in thinking towards the NPP? And the second one is, what do you think CA will bring to the NPP to this alliance?
Well, I think we need to make certain things straight. I did not form Citizens Alliance. Like, it's an institution. I'm just lucky to be the head, and I feel honored to be the head of the party. However, in politics, it's about alternatives. It's about alternatives. We brought an alternative for how the country should be governed. I mean, right or wrongly governed is subjective. I can think that the country is wrongly governed while somebody else is thinking it is rightly governed. It's subjective. What is objective is that we prefer alternatives. NPP come up with their manifesto. This is the way we think we should run the country. This is what our vision for healthcare, for employment, for agriculture. We think, no, it is this way. We go to the people. The people listen to the different alternatives and they choose which they think is best for them. In this case, they think that the NPP's manifesto was the best manifesto. That is why they voted for the NPP. Nonetheless, that should not also stop us from still thinking that in our ideas, adding it onto the ideas of the NPP, can even make this country become stronger. That is one thing. For your second question, what are we bringing? Not only ideas, where, like we said, we have a 10-point plan, we have a manifesto, we have a very strong base as well, politically. We have policy level, we are coming up with very good ideas. Like, there are challenges in this country, you name it. If I want to name all the challenges here, we'll spend a whole night here. How do we align our ideas policy-wise to move this country? Because we think that the NPP cannot, the president cannot do it alone. But also, we have a very strong support base across the country. We've done a lot of grassroots work. And I think the NPP with their strong support base and CA with their strong support base, we can really change the dynamics of politics in this country. But also our collaboration will change thinking in politics in this country to let the young ones know that politics is not about insults or animosity or protest. It's also about how people can collaborate and cooperate across both divides, whether you are in government or in opposition.
I mean, you've mentioned of you coming together as a party to help the NPP in terms of some certain things, most especially this coming local government elections.
To align, not help, but work together.
To align together. Yes. Are we seeing a possible, you being the candidate for, because you're from West Coast region, so probably it might be a very good chance.
Well, I can't answer that question. I think that's a bit premature question. We've not reached that stage yet, unfortunately.
Thank you. Now let's allow...
We have seen many parties have joined the president for the past election. And today you are here telling governments that you have joined the president to help develop the nation. What will happen if you join? What will happen later if you see that the reason of you joining the party are not achieved?
Well, I think the decision to align with NPP for the interest of this country was not Ismaila Ceesay's decision. It was a party decision. And if the partnership goes and we see that things are not going the way we anticipated, the party has to sit and assess and evaluate the relationship and make that decision. I cannot preempt an answer to that.
Thank you.
So
Sorry.
Dr. Ceesay, this is your partnership with NPP. You have talked about the country facing challenges. What are the priority areas that you intend to work with the NPP to address these challenges that the country is facing right now?
Well, I think it's first for our priority areas. If you look at our 10-point plan, is youth engagement. We think we need to really engage our young people. We need to find ways to provide employment for our young people. We have to engage our young people. We need to come up with social policies to ensure, because if the young people are not engaged, if the young people don't have spaces where they can go and self-actualize to develop their talents and their skills, they become idle and frustrated and feel depraved. And that is most of these crimes you are hearing happening in the country. And Gambia is not an exception. Go to any country. Go to New York. Go to London. Go to Kingston, for example. Go to Bronx. Governments are really finding it difficult. How do you engage young people? And also remember, look at the demographics. Look at population growth. We are 2.5 million today. 10 years ago, we are 1 point something. In 25 years' time, in 2050, it is projected to be 5 million people. What do we do with 5 million people? And 70% are going to be young people. They want jobs. They need to get skills. And we have an expertise on that. We also want to work with the government in our ideas, because this alliance is at the local government level. How do we reform the local government system? That's why it starts. So there are many things. The doors are open. The president has assured us of his commitment to open his doors and work with us. I think we are happy with that, and we are very hopeful that this partnership will open a new dawn, will start a new dawn for Gambia, for Gambian politics, and for development of this country. Thank you.
Our apology. Now we allow Mambajik to respond.
I just have one
Mambajik.
Honorable, I just have one question for Thank you very much. I would just like to know, I mean, this partnership you're saying between the CA and the National People's Party, is it just a gentleman agreement or is it a signed document that will guide how this partnership will go?
Well, we've not reached that stage yet. For now, it's just to declare intentions for the interest of the country to work together and form an alliance. I think those ones will come at some point, and if they do happen, we'll obviously inform the public in due course.
Honorable, one more question. Doctor, I have two questions. One is, you were strong critics of President Goro. You all remember, even you were you. How receptive was the president towards you aligning with his political party? And what assurance, what more assurance, how important on the assurance that he has given you? And the other one is, what would you say to the suggestion that this is born out of desperation on the part of CA, aligning themselves to NPP, knowing that CA is going through some difficulties? My colleague said it, there are resignations and all those things. Would this be born out of frustration to align yourself to the National People's Party so that you will be able to thrive under the difficult conditions that the political parties are in?
Well, the first question, you said receptiveness of the president. I'll give you an anecdote. This is not the first time I'm meeting the president. I met the president before the elections. I think that is public knowledge now. And I think that was the first engagement I had with the president after all that has been said politically. The manner in which he received me and the way in which he really accommodated me, I was like, is this really President Barrow? I mean, no vindictiveness, no grudges, nothing. He acted like nothing ever happened. That really made me believe that this is a man who really we can work with. And since then, after every engagement like today, you don't see that. President Barrow is a different breed. He's not vindictive based on my experiences with him. He doesn't hold grudges. He doesn't think of what happened yesterday. It's politics. We say things. But the most important thing is the interest aligned. That is the interest of the Gambian people. That is one thing. The difficulties, that is why if we wanted to solve our problems in terms of our difficulties, one of the solutions would not be to join NPP. We would do something else to deal with that. So obviously people will say, people there are many interpretations, and that's normal in politics. Some people will say it's because of job, some people say it's because of difficulties, but people have a right to interpret. We live in a free society. What is important is that we know, and I can guarantee you, and our members and the government people, that the only reason we felt it necessary to form an alliance and a partnership with NPP is to work together for the interest of the country, because we think that the country needs it. Thank you.
Yeah, he will respond and appreciate on behalf of
I mean, you're one of a prominent member in NPP. How do you see the Citizens Alliance allying with, the NPP for the most?
Well, thank you so much. You know, it is often said that in politics there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies, but permanent interest. And like Dr. rightly put it, in this case, the interest of the nation supersedes every other interest. They are a political party. They wanted to contest the 2021 presidential elections. Unfortunately, it couldn't happen. But that would never stop them from actually working with the government of the day to move this country to the next level. Because development and nation building is an ongoing process. It's a process that needs continuous fine-tuning, redefining, and recalibration. And Dr. Ismaila Ceesay is a brain, obviously, in this country, very young brain and vibrant for that matter, and he and his team have realized that the best way to go is not for them to keep their manifesto in the cupboards, but to actually come and work with the president, work with his government, work with the National People's Party in order for us to be able to develop this country. And that will be done, inshallah, to the best interest of both parties. And we respect the fact that they are a political party. They have never intended to abandon their political party to join the NPP. This has to be clear. It is a partnership, and this partnership is premised on what is best for this country. And we appreciate that. And I would want to seize this opportunity to just buttress some of the things he said, that this country is facing very difficult challenges, just as it is in many other countries. Like he rightly put it, for 3 years, the coronavirus has ravaged the entire world. And immediately after that, on the heels of really believing that we are doing away with the coronavirus, we have the Russia and Ukraine war. And we all know that almost everything we consume in this country is imported. And people will argue that government should intervene and try to compel the business people to bring down prices. But that is practically impossible. Because today, as we speak, a metric ton of rice costs $420. If you calculate that, if you convert that into dollars, it seems a bag of rice will cost you $1,183. And that excludes another $100, which is the tax, the transportation, and labor to get it to your store. So that is, therefore, in that case, it is practically impossible for any government to compel any businessman to sell a bag of rice for less than $1,000. What you will do in the process is to compel them not to sell or not to import, and there will be scarcity. And I'd rather have it expensive than to not see it at all. So that is where we are. And that is why we need everybody, all hands on deck, so that we can deliver this country and the world from the quagmire it is in today. And I guess we can do it if we continue to work together, pull resources together, and make it work for the good of this country. Thank you.
Thank you. You just respond and appreciate.
No questions. Yes. I just want to know what does the alliance entails. Are you going to have a tactical, process where NPP and CA will have their candidates run in different areas for the next election, as opposed to the alliance that we see with other parties?
You know, you are talking about this alliance as if the focus is only on elections. These are people that have recognized the efforts of the president and believe with the 10 points that they have, which they believe are to the best interest of this country, they can come and share with the president, the government, and the NPP so that we together can move this country forward. When we get to the 2023 local government elections, that will be a different ballgame.
Now that we have the 10-point agenda on the table, plus that of the NPP, and then how are we going to expect these things to be turned from being on paper to practical?
Well, you know, like I said, nation building takes a process, and their 10-point agenda, their intention was to implement it using public resources when they were elected into office. Now we have an opportunity to sit with them to look at the 10-point agenda, look at how it could be operationalized, and then obviously the issue of policy becomes the responsibility of government, and together I believe we'll be able to do it. We can make it work.
Speaking directly to Gambians, especially the supporters of CA and NPP, what would be your advice?
To continue to work together, to continue to rise above politics of insults, like he said, character assassination, rise above tribal bigotry. We must understand that this country, we are all one people. All of us with one agenda to transform this country socially and economically. And in that respect, we should be able to, at all times, work together to make things work, because we are not enemies after all. It's just when we have different agendas, our different thinkings, our different mindsets on how we think this country should be governed. But the ultimate aim is to take this country to the next level, and our supporters will understand that. They have always understood that, and they will continue to work with us, work with CA to make it happen.
We want to apologize. We have another engagement. Sorry. Thank you.
Thanks.